So we are learning new information this morning about the mass shooting at Florida State. Classes are canceled today as police work to find a motive. Authorities say the suspect is a 20-year-old FSU student named Phoenix Eichner, who opened fire at 11:50 a.m. His stepmother is a local sheriff's deputy. Students say they heard as many as 30 gunshots. The shooting killed 2 people and wounded 6 others. Those 2 who died were not students. Authorities declared the campus secure more than 3 hours later. CBS News reporter Kati Weis is joining us now from Tallahassee, Florida, to tell us more about the victims. So Kati, what have you learned about those 2 victims?
Well, Vlad, I can begin with you this morning with some good news, actually. Of the 6 people who were injured here on campus at the student union behind me, all 6 of those folks are expected to be okay. And we're just learning at this hour that 2 of the people who were injured are expected to be released from the hospital today. So definitely a bright sliver of good news here in the midst of this awful tragedy in Tallahassee, Florida. We're also still working to learn more details, about the 2 people who were unfortunately killed in this tragic incident. We do know from police that those 2 people were not students, so still gathering some more details. Their names have not been released at this time. Vlad?
And what have we heard from the school, from the university president and others in the community?
Sure. So classes are going to be canceled throughout today and throughout the weekend into Monday. And the university has actually opened up a support center here on campus at the FSU Student Life Center to provide counseling and victims advocacy services for anyone who needs it. And actually right now, students are lining up to come grab some of the materials that they left behind in a rush during yesterday's chaos.
And Kati, what are you learning about the suspect? Apparently, according to Skylar Henry this morning on CBS Mornings, he indicated that he had another birth name. He changed his name to Phoenix. What are some of the students telling you? What have you learned about sort of his behavior leading up to this moment?
Yes, Vlad. Well, yesterday I spent several hours in the neighborhood that he grew up in throughout his middle and high school years. We know that his parents were involved in a pretty nasty custody battle. We're not sure what kind of role that may have played in his childhood. That is, however, maybe one reason why he did change his name as a child. We do know, though, that when I was actually in his neighborhood yesterday, that the home in that neighborhood, that's where he allegedly obtained the firearm from his stepmom to use allegedly in this attack here on campus. And I was able to actually speak with a neighbor who grew up with him in that neighborhood, who spent every day riding the bus with him. She gave me some insight on what he was like growing up. Take a listen.
He was very isolated. He was just very odd. I don't believe he had many friends. I tried to have a conversation with him one time, and it was only one conversation, but that I knew of. He was very quiet. He didn't really have much of a presence around.
Now, police say that he so far has not been cooperative with the investigation. We're told he is still in the hospital recovering after he was injured in a shootout with police here on campus during the attack yesterday late morning. But in the meantime, without many answers or information from that alleged suspect, still a very open investigation into the potential motive in this case. Vlad.
All right, Kati Weis, thank you for your reporting, Kati. Appreciate it. Okay, for more on the legal side of the story, I want to bring in CBS News Senior Coordinating Producer for Crime and Public Safety, Anna Schecter. Good to see you.
Great to be with you.
All right, so you heard Kati saying that he's not being cooperative right now with the authorities, so at this point we don't have a motive.
That's right. He invoked his Fifth Amendment rights not to answer their questions. So that actually gave us a clue as to his health. We know he was shot by police before we had that presser yesterday where we learned he didn't answer questions. We didn't even know if he was able to communicate. So he was able to communicate there, but he also had enough information to know that he could refuse to answer those questions. But still, we are learning a lot. His birth mother had posted to social media over the years about her efforts to see her son. She posted disparaging remarks about his father. So we're learning that there was a custody battle going back to 2007. Also, she took him to Norway in 2016 when he was about 11 years old. Against the order, she didn't inform the father. He then filed court documents, and that changed the custody situation, where he then was living more regularly with his father and stepmom. But police tell me this is really rough for them because he was one of their own. He grew up in the law enforcement community. So these very investigators probing this case knew him. He was active in the Student Advisory Council with the Sheriff's Office, and his stepmom was a beloved colleague of 18 years.
So it's interesting, Anna. On one hand, on CBS Mornings, we spoke with someone who survived not only this shooting at Florida State, but also who survived the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. So she never thought she would find herself in another mass shooting, but this is where we are in America in 2025. But I thought it was interesting that she's, my colleague Tony asked her about gun laws and what should be done by politicians. And there was a discussion that, well, no, this was perhaps a responsible gun owner because the stepmom is a sheriff's deputy. But to me, I still wonder, how does a kid get their hands on a weapon if you are a sheriff's deputy? Presumably, if you are a responsible gun owner, you would have that weapon under lock and key. But we haven't heard anything from the stepmom yet.
That's right. And it's such a great question. His work on the Student Advisory Council, part of that training is about safe storage, and yet he was able to obtain this handgun. This is a handgun that was issued to her by the sheriff's office. It was her weapon.
Service revolver.
Now that service revolver was then replaced with a new service revolver, and she purchased it, according to police, for her own use. So this was her personal handgun that he was able to access. Let's look at Florida state law. There are safe storage gun laws that apply only if a minor under the age of 16 is able to obtain a handgun or a shotgun from a home, like, for example, a parent's gun. But he was 20 years old, so it's unclear if his stepmom would be liable for anything. I haven't found any laws, and I've been looking all morning, that she violated because of the way federal gun laws are. They're relatively loose. Now, remember, after Parkland, the state did pass laws making it more difficult for young people to purchase handguns or long guns, but that didn't apply here. We don't know that he purchased a gun at all. He was able to obtain it from his stepmom.
Wow. All right. Anna Schecter reporting for us. Thank you, Anna. As always, appreciate you. All right. As I mentioned, FSU student Stephanie Horowitz witnessed the chaos from this attack. She's also a survivor of the Parkland shooting in 2018, where 17 people were killed. And Stephanie joined us on CBS Mornings, and she discussed those traumatic moments and the way that they've affected her mental health. Listen to this.
After surviving the Parkland school shooting at Stoneman Douglas back in 2018, I was a freshman. After that day, I kind of woke up every morning thinking that it could be my last day. I was afraid for my life, every step that I took. And I've come a long way over that time. And I've gotten to a place over these last couple of years where I didn't fear for my life anymore. And I was able to walk around campus and feel safe. And here we are yet again, and that was taken away from me for a second time.
Stephanie added she just wants to be there to support others in this difficult time.